Good morning. Welcome again to my YouTube channel. I still remember my humble self, Dr. Ankujo Nuchenna. You can remember in the previous class we introduced parasitology. We defined this course called parasitology. We talked about the different types of symbiosis. Without wasting much time, let's continue from where we stopped. Now, we have there's some other subtopics to look at. We have the difference between parasitism and other symbiosis. We have effects of parasites on their host. We have types of parasites. So let's continue, or let's start with the first subtopic, the difference between parasitism and other symbiosis. Now, if you can remember in the previous class, I defined parasitism as a heterotrophic type of interaction whereby the parasite lives in or on the body of the host, deriving nourishment at the expense of the host. Now, there is a basic difference between parasitism and other types of symbiosis that we have mentioned. If you can remember them, I know I talked about phoresis, I talked about commensalism, and I talked about mutualism. There is this basic difference between parasitism and other types of symbiosis. And that basic difference is that in parasitism, there is an elicitation of immunological response on the part of the host. That means that once a parasite gets into the body of the host, of course, the parasite releases what we call the antigen. And to counter the effect of the parasite of the host now releases what is now called antibody. Now, the release of this antibody is what we call immunological response or elicitation of immunological response on the part of the host. And in this case now, there's a reaction we normally call the antibody antigen reaction. The antigen, of course, is released by the parasite and the host responds. And the response of the host is in triggering the release of the antibodies that come to counter the effect of the parasite. So this is the basic difference or the morphological, the basic difference, yes, between parasitism and other symbiosis, other types of symbiosis that we have studied. Now, the next thing I want to look at now is the effects of parasites on their host. When a parasite gets into the host, there is there are effects that the parasite causes on the host. Now, one of the effects of the parasites on the host is that the parasite, deprive the host of nutritional requirements such as amino acids, you have vitamin, and the rest of them. So you see that by the time you take your food, you have lots of these vitamin and amino acids, but parasites feed on them and thereby depriving the host of these nutritional requirements. Then another one is that the parasite feeds on host blood. Yes, some parasites feed on the blood of the host. Now you have this popular parasite that is called hookworm, the Ensarasoma dodona americanus. You discover that this parasite feed. As a matter of fact, one of the parasites can even absorb, some of the parasites can absorb as large as 250 milliliter of blood within a week or 2 weeks, as the case may be. So parasites also deprive or feed on host blood. So the first one I said, depriving the host of nutritional requirements. The second one is feeding on host blood. Then, of course, the parasite can also destroy the host tissue. Now, you have the hooves and the suckers that some of these parasites use either for feeding or for attachment to the body of the host. Now, they use these hooves to clench on the wall of the intestine of the host, and it causes damage. So, it can cause tissue damage. That is one of the effects of parasites on the host. Then, another one is that parasites also cause what we call mechanical interference. Now, this mechanical interference can be either in the brain, the capillaries of the brain, or probably in the intestine. It causes occlusion. They clump together within the intestine. For the intestine, we have this parasite that's capable of doing this. It's called Ascaris umbilicaris. It can clump, pack together in the intestine, and even result to perforation of the intestine. And this is it causes a deadly medical condition. Now, we also have the parasites that pack themselves within the capillaries of the brain, and the plasmodium can do that. And once they are in a kind of add pressure to the capillaries of the brain, they can result to the breaking of these capillaries. And once the capillaries break, then you see blood, dripping within the visceral part of the brain. This can result to cerebral malaria or hemorrhage, cerebral hemorrhage, as the case may be. So these are some of the effects that parasites have on their host. Then uh, I want to conclude, end this video. No, I wouldn't want it to be too long by talking about the effects, talking about the types of parasites. Now we have different types of parasites. The first one is the ectoparasites. The ectoparasite is that type of parasite that lives on the body of the host, deriving nourishment at the expense of the host. They will now have endoparasites. In this case, now, an endoparasite is that kind of parasite that lives in the body of the host. We now have obligate parasites. Now, as the name implies, obligate parasites are parasites that cannot survive when separated from the host. That means that they are obligatory to living with a particular host. And once they are separated, they will no longer survive. And most of these parasites, not all of them, some of them can be cultured in the laboratory, while some cannot be cultured. And for those that can be cultured, what you do is to mimic the environment of the host, in the lab. Once you mimic it, get the normal nutrient that it takes within the host and put it in a petri dish. You can use it to culture it or to grow them in the laboratory. Then, uh, apart from that, again, you also discover that we have what we call a facultative parasite. A facultative parasite is a parasite that is normally free living, but sometimes can assume a parasitic mode of life. Normally, it's a free living parasite, but sometimes they can assume a parasitic mode of life. Then we also have the one we call the permanent parasite. The permanent parasite is a parasite that spends its entire adult life in a particular host. We have this parasite that is always found in human hair or within the scalp of human. It's called the Epidicurus humanus capitis, lice, or head louse, lice as the case may be. So this is an example of a permanent parasite. Now, of course, we'll have temporal parasites. A temporal parasite is a parasite that makes contact with the host with the purpose of feeding, after which it leaves. It does not stay long on the body of the host. It just comes for the purpose of feeding. Then mosquito and the bed bug and some other vectors, they are examples of this particular type of parasite. So I think I will end this session here. I wouldn't want the video to be too long. In subsequent videos, teachings will come up with other aspects of this course. Thank you once more for listening. I remember humble self, Dr. and John Uchenna. Thank you.